How to Get Rich, 7 Realistic Steps to Build Your Wealth Today. Pretty bold title, gotta say. But if it delivers, you know our listeners are going to eat this up. So are these steps really things people can start using right away?
You know, what I found interesting right off the bat is how the post makes it clear there's no, like, one-size-fits-all get-rich formula. It's all about figuring out what being rich even means for you personally, right? And then making a plan that fits that.
Yeah, I see that. It's
Yeah.
not just about like hitting some magic number in your bank account. It's about the freedom to live the life you want. Okay, so the post lays out 7 steps to get there, and it's a pretty solid list. Creating a personalized financial plan, starting to save right away, managing debt, boosting your income, building an investment strategy, planning for emergencies, and seeking professional financial advice. Where do you think we should jump in first?
Well, to me, it all starts with that personalized financial plan. It's the foundation, but not in a restrictive way. More like setting exciting goals, whether it's retiring early, traveling, whatever that dream is.
Right, right.
And the post calls them SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay, I like that framework. So instead of just saying like, I want to travel more, it's more like, I want to take a 2-week trip to Italy in 2 years, and I need to save $5,000 for it.
Exactly, turning those wishes into tangible goals. And a good financial plan is like your roadmap to get there.
That makes sense. So once you've got your roadmap, the next step is starting to save,
Hmm.
right? Even if it's a small amount. But honestly, saving is tough for me. Always seems like there's something else to spend money on. The post says even small amounts can grow significantly over time, but is that actually true?
It's totally true, and it all comes down to the magic of compound interest.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
It really is like magic. Let me give you an example. Say you invest just $100 every month and get a modest 7% return. By the time you retire, you could have over $1 million.
Wait, $1 million from just saving $100 a month? Okay, compound interest is officially on my radar now, so what's the catch?
The trick is consistency and time.
Yeah.
The sooner you start, the more time that money has to grow.
Right, right.
Even small amounts invested consistently snowball into serious wealth over time.
Snowball. There's that word again?
Exactly. And the post even suggests automating your savings, so you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, automating things makes a lot of sense. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say. Okay, let's talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Debt. It can feel like this big, scary thing. What does the post say about dealing with it?
Well, it's interesting because it doesn't say to avoid all debt completely. It talks about good debt and bad debt.
Okay, now that's a new one for me.
Right, like a mortgage can actually be good debt because it helps you build equity.
So it's like forced savings in a way.
Exactly. And the interest you pay on a mortgage is often tax deductible.
But then there's the bad debt,
Yeah.
like high-interest credit card debt, that just drains your resources. So it's more nuanced than just all debt is bad. How do we actually deal with that bad debt then? Does the post offer any strategies?
It mentions 2 popular methods: the debt avalanche and the debt snowball.
All right, break those down for me.
So with the avalanche method, you focus on the debt with the highest interest rate first.
Okay, that makes sense mathematically.
Right. You end up saving the most money in the long run that way.
I can see that.
But the snowball method, that's about tackling the smallest balances first,
Oh, interesting.
regardless of the interest rate.
So which one is better?
That's the thing. There's no one right answer. It depends on your personality and what you're comfortable with. The avalanche is the most efficient, but the snowball can give you that motivation boost. Seeing those debts disappear quickly keeps you going.
Makes sense. It's like choosing the right workout routine, right? Got to be something you can stick with. So we've tackled saving and debt. What's next on this wealth-building adventure?
The post highlights something I think a lot of people overlook: increasing your income.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's not just about cutting back, it's about bringing in more money.
You know, I always thought of income as pretty fixed. You get a job, get a salary, that's it. What are some of the ways the post talks about to increase income?
It mentions negotiating a raise, switching jobs for better opportunities, and even developing new skills.
So it's about being proactive, taking control. I like that. Does it get into specifics about what skills are in high demand?
Yeah, it talks about how the job market is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So investing in yourself, taking online courses, earning certifications, even a higher degree, it can all pay off big time.
Makes you more valuable. Right.
Exactly. And there's also the whole gig economy thing: freelancing, online businesses, side hustles.
Ooh, side hustles. Always wanted to explore those. I bet there are tons of possibilities out there.
Definitely. And the Post even has a whole section dedicated to side hustle ideas.
Okay, I'm adding that to my reading list.
Ah.
But let's not get sidetracked just yet. What's the next step in the post?
Now we're getting into investing, which is all about making your money work for you, not just sitting in a savings account.
Okay, here's where I get a little lost. Investing has always seemed so intimidating.
I get it. There's a lot to learn.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
The Post really emphasizes diversification as a key strategy.
Diversification, what's that?
Think back to our snowball analogy. Diversification is like having multiple snowballs rolling down different hills.
I'm listening.
If one hits a bump, the others keep going. You're spreading your investments across different asset classes.
Like stocks, bonds, real estate, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you spread them out to manage risk.
Okay, that makes sense. So the post gives examples of those different asset classes and how to combine them.
It does. It's really helpful. And it also talks about market volatility, those ups and downs. The key is to stay focused on your long-term strategy, not get caught up in the day-to-day.
Okay, that's reassuring. Investing seems a bit less scary now. So we've got our plan, we're saving, managing debt, boosting income, investing wisely. What else is there?
Well, life happens, and that's
Sure.
where step 6 comes in, planning for emergencies.
Right, that's important. What if I lose my job or have a medical emergency? Feels like that could really set you back,
Exactly, and that's why the Post talks about having an emergency fund.
like a financial safety net.
Exactly. It recommends having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up.
Okay, so that's for those just-in-case moments. Is there anything else we can do to be prepared?
Well, the Post also talks about insurance, health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, even property insurance.
Oh, many types of insurance.
It's all about protecting yourself financially if something unexpected happens.
Like putting on your financial armor. I like that. Okay, so we've covered creating a plan, saving, managing debt, boosting income, investing, and planning for emergencies. That's a pretty comprehensive approach to building wealth. What's the final step?
The last step is seeking professional financial advice. Because even with the best intentions, personal finance can get complicated.
True.
A good financial advisor can help you navigate those complexities and stay on track.
Like having a financial coach in your corner.
Exactly.
But how do you even find a good financial advisor?
That's a great question and something we can definitely dive into more next time.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like this blog post really delivers on its promise of realistic steps to building wealth. I feel way more informed now,
Yeah.
but I know we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah, we've laid a good foundation. But next time we can dig into some specifics like how to actually choose investments or what kind of side hustles might be a good fit.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to crunch some numbers on that compound interest thing. See how much that $1 million snowball grows if I bump up my contributions.
Sounds good. See you next time.
Welcome back. That compound interest thing from last time, wow. $1 million from just saving $100 a month. Seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? That snowball effect we were talking about, the longer you let it roll, the more powerful it gets.
I think a lot of people hear about compound interest but don't really get it. It's easy to think those small contributions won't make a difference.
That's so true. We think short term, but investing is all about the long game. Let me throw another example at you. Invest just $5 a day. That's like skipping your daily latte at a 7% return. In 30 years, you could have over $250,000.
Okay, now that puts it into perspective. It's not about huge sacrifices, it's those small choices over time. Speaking of choices, the post also talked about mindset and discipline being important. What are your thoughts on that?
It's spot on. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you'll sabotage yourself. It's about delaying gratification, resisting those impulse buys, staying focused on your goals.
You know, that's where I've struggled in the past. It's tempting to splurge, even if it throws my savings off track.
It's a common trap. Our culture is all about instant gratification, but building wealth takes patience, discipline. Think of it like training for a marathon. You can't just run 26 miles overnight. It takes consistent effort.
That's a great analogy. And I am definitely more of a sprinter. But I guess building wealth really is a marathon.
Exactly. And it's not about deprivation. It's about making choices that match your values and goals. If travel is your passion, cut back on eating out so you can afford that trip. It's about prioritizing what matters most.
I love that, saying yes to the things that really matter. Okay, so we've talked about saving, investing, managing debt, mindset, but how do you actually do it? Any practical tips for overcoming those financial roadblocks we all hit?
One of the simplest things is creating a budget. Doesn't have to be complicated. There are apps for that now. The key is tracking your spending, seeing where you can cut back.
I've got to be honest, I've always avoided budgeting. It just seems so restrictive, time-consuming.
I hear you, but it's not about restricting your freedom. It's about giving you control over your money. You're telling your money where to go, like a financial GPS.
Okay, that actually makes budgeting sound appealing. So it's about being intentional with your spending. What about tackling debt? Any tips there?
We talked about the debt avalanche and debt snowball methods, right? Pick one and stick with it. Consistency is key. And those small extra payments can really make a difference over time.
As I get a bonus or something, I could throw that at my debt.
Exactly, a gift to your future self. And don't be afraid to negotiate with your creditors. They might surprise you, willing to work with you on interest rates or payment plans.
Good point. I always assumed those were set in stone. Now, investing, I'm starting to see why it's important. But I'm still overwhelmed by all the options. Where do I even begin?
It is a lot to take in at first, but you don't need to be an expert to get started. There are things like robo-advisors that can help you build a diversified portfolio.
Robo-advisors. Sounds futuristic.
Right. Basically, they're online platforms that manage your investments using algorithms. You answer some questions about your goals and risk tolerance, and the robo-advisor builds a portfolio for you, takes out the guesswork.
Wow, so technology can actually make investing easier. What about those other options, like stocks and bonds and real estate? How do you decide what to invest in?
That's where research comes in. Or talking to a professional, a financial advisor can explain those different asset classes, help you create a strategy. But even if you're not ready for an advisor, there are tons of resources out there. Books, websites, podcasts like this one.
Knowledge is power, right? I'm definitely feeling more confident about exploring those options. We touched on emergency planning. Should we dig a bit deeper into that? Any practical tips for building that financial safety net?
Absolutely. First, set up a separate savings account specifically for emergencies. Aim for 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And automate those contributions. It'll become a habit.
So it's like paying yourself first, before anything else. What about insurance? I know the post mentioned it's important.
It's worth taking the time to understand what you need. Health insurance is a must, but also life insurance, disability insurance, property insurance. You're protecting yourself from those what-if scenarios.
Okay, so insurance is like the safety harness on our financial tightrope walk. I'm seeing how it all fits together now. It's not just saving or investing separately. It's a whole plan. We could talk about this for hours. Anything else we need to cover in this episode?
I think we've covered a lot of ground. Mindset, compound interest, tips for those financial roadblocks. But I want to emphasize that building wealth is a journey, not a destination. It's about making progress, one step at a time.
So it's okay to start small, learn as I go. I don't have to have everything figured out right now.
Exactly. Just take that first step. Read a book, set up an automatic savings transfer, anything. Every step is a win. And as you learn, you'll gain confidence and momentum.
That's encouraging. I'm ready to take action. Before I run off and open a new savings account, should we save finding a financial advisor for next time?
I think that's a great idea. We can talk about the different types, what to look for, and how to choose the right one for you. We can also discuss financial literacy, how to keep learning and growing.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Until then, listeners, don't wait to get started. Even small steps make a difference. All right, welcome back for the final part of our deep dives. We've covered so much ground already, from compound interest to mindset. And of course, all those actionable steps you can take to boost your financial well-being.
It's a journey, not a race, right? We've talked about the power of those small, consistent steps. And today, we're going to dig a little deeper into some key aspects that can really help you along the way.
You know, one thing that keeps coming up is financial literacy. It feels like the foundation for all these smart financial choices we've been discussing.
Absolutely. Without understanding the basics, it's easy to get overwhelmed and make decisions that might not be in your best interest. It's like trying to navigate a new city without a map. You might get there eventually, but you'll probably take a bunch of wrong turns.
Yeah, and this blog post we're exploring really stresses that it's never too late to start learning. It doesn't make you feel like you need to be an expert already.
Exactly. There are so many resources available now, books, websites, podcasts like ours. It's all at your fingertips. But it's not just about passively taking in information. It's about taking charge of your financial education, asking questions, seeking out different viewpoints.
So being proactive, going after that information, I can do that. What are some other practical tips for boosting financial literacy?
One thing that really helped me was finding a money buddy. Someone to talk to about finances, brainstorm with, keep each other accountable. It could be a friend, a family member, even a financial mentor. Having someone to share the journey with makes it more fun, less intimidating.
I like that. A workout buddy for your finances.
Hmm.
And speaking of support, we also talked about seeking professional advice. But honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start looking for a good advisor.
It's a common challenge, but the Post has some good advice on that. First, look for a fiduciary. That means they're legally obligated to put your interests first.
So they're on your team, not just focused on their own commission.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to shop around, interview a few advisors before choosing. It's a personal relationship, so trust and communication are key.
It's about finding the right fit, doing your homework. I'm sensing a theme here. Being proactive seems crucial in this whole wealth-building journey.
You got it. And that's what makes it so empowering. Building wealth isn't about luck. It's about taking control of your financial future, making choices that align with your goals and values.
I've got to say, this conversation has really shifted my perspective. It's not just about the numbers on my bank account anymore. It's about having the freedom and security to live the life I want.
That's exactly it. Money is a tool to help you achieve your dreams. And building wealth isn't just about accumulating money, it's about building a life you love.
So as we wrap up, what are the key takeaways for our listeners? What do we want them to remember?
First, remember that building wealth is a journey. It's about making consistent progress, celebrating those wins along the way.
And don't be afraid to learn. The more you know, the better decisions you'll make. And find your community, your money buddy. Talk to loved ones. Seek professional advice when you need it.
Most importantly, you have the power to shape your financial destiny. It's about making conscious choices, taking action.
That's a powerful message. Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into building wealth. We covered a lot, but this is just the beginning.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving towards those goals. You got this.
That's it for this episode, folks. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, remember to keep learning and keep taking action. You have the power to build the financial future you want.